Hi guys, welcome to Sewing Wednesday. I want to show you something. Do you remember this from 2 months ago? And I promised you guys I was going to piece it together. Got it all sewn. I've already shown you this on a previous video. Well, my friend Carolyn came in town, and she's the one that's going to be helping me piece this together. So she's already squared up. How many, Carolyn?
Six. I've done six out of
She's done six.
Actually, 7 out of the 9.
7 out of the 9. And what she's going to do is going to show you guys how to square up a panel. So I'm just going to let her go with it. Okay, Carolyn.
Okay, well, thank you for letting me help you. What we have here is one square that it has uneven edges. We've determined that the finished size before we sew them together is going to be 8 by 10. And so what I've been doing is I've been taking and determining that there's definitely 8 inches across. In this case, with the uneven edges, it's about 8 3/4. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to square up one side. And I'm just doing this by kind of eyeballing it. I have a nice ruler here. It's a 6-inch ruler, 6-inch wide. And I'm just going to trim off one edge so that we can get a starting point. And that's going to be our edge to measure by. So we have one edge that's nice and even. Now you'll see that if I were to cut over here, let me flip the ruler around, I've got about 8 1/4 that it is right now. So when we square this other side up, it'll be 8 inches. The length of the block, the finished size, is going to be 10. Right now I have approximately 11 plus. So I'm also going to square up one end of it here, the bottom part, and I'm going to use as a guideline the right hand side that I've already squared up. So I'm just going to pick a line on my ruler here. It happens to be the 5-inch line. It doesn't really matter, but it's going to give me a focal point to line this up and then square off the bottom. So what we now have is the right hand side as well as the bottom is squared up. So from there we're going to do the other two sides. The first one we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler and we want to measure over from the even side all the way to the right, and I'm placing this at the 8-inch line because we want 8 inches across. So I have this, and I'm just going to use one of these friction pins that's erasable when you iron it. And I'm just going to give myself a line there. And again, by using the bottom, the fact that I squared off the bottom already, I'm going to be able to line this up right here. And then off to the right with using my ink line that I penciled in there, and I'm going to cut that. So now we have 3 out of the 4 sides evened up quite nicely. And you'll see that we have 8 inches across. And that lines up very nicely. So what we now need to do is do the 10-inch length. And the bottom is even. I'm not concerned about the sides right now, but I'm going to take my ruler, choose the 10-inch line, put it at the bottom, and then have that above the picture here. And actually what I'm going to do, I want to cut off the bottom just a little bit more, just so that the picture, the finished product, the embroidered cat, is more centered on this square. Now this really doesn't matter a whole lot, but because I had extra length to the square, I can do that. So again, putting that 10-inch line right there at the bottom, going all the way up, then I can do my ink line here. Again, this is erasable, and you will see that right now the top is going to be trimmed off. and will be quite nice when it's done. And so now I'm going to just pick a line here and line up on the left side as well as at the bottom, just so that those are lined up along with the ink line that I penciled in there. Trim that, and we have a finished square that is now nice, neat, and tidy. And if we want to look at it, we turn the ruler over here. We have 8 inches wide and 10 inches.
Okay, so we've got one more to do out of the 9.
One more to do.
Okay.
So again, the rough side, the rough width right now, this one is a little bit narrow. I've actually already trimmed one side. It had a little bit of a selvage piece of fabric there, and I trimmed it earlier, so it's good to go on this one side already. And so what I'm going to do is just trim up the bottom just slightly. And then we have, twisting the ruler around here, so we're going to do 8 inches across. So the left hand side is evened up, so I can use my pen again here. And using the bottom squared up edge already, I can line this up along with the line on the right that I just penciled in there, and trim that up. And then we have the 10 inches. We're going to line up the bottom here at the 10-inch line using my friction pen again. Going to trim that, and I want to show you this is just a side thing. Anybody that is not aware of these friction pens, you can use these pens, and then when you'll see that there's ink there, but when you press them, it disappears. So it's quite nice.
You pretty much need that when you're sewing or doing embroidery or anything.
Because the heat will remove the ink, and it's really nice. And so now we have finished all of our squares. The finished size is 10 inches from top to bottom and 8 from side to side.
Okay, great. So let's put it over here with the rest of them. So what is next? On the next video, what are we going to show them?
Well, this is the fabric that has been chosen we're going to use for the backing, as well as a little strip in between each square.
Okay.
And so this is going to look very nice against these colors. It has, some colorful little spots in it, so it will be very nice. So that's what we're going to do next.
All right. You guys stay tuned.